Okay.
Hello, people. We are live with another edition of Alien Invasion. We were off last week, but we're back this week. And before we start the show, Brad will explain exactly the situation, how you can subscribe to the podcast and all that jazz. So take it away, Brad Ludwig.
I would be more than happy to, Mr. Dave Nelson. You can check us out at iTunes, Stitcher. You can check us out at Google Play podcast area. You can go to gncasts.com/subscribe, and you can grab any of our RSS feeds for any of our shows, not just the Alien Invasion, but we have so much more to offer you. So if you are a tech and geek type person, we've got something that will probably scratch your itch. And horror.
We don't have a tech show.
Well, we talk about science and technology in Alien Invasion. You do a little bit in Galactic Radio.
Yeah, that's true. Very, very true.
So it's a broad-based statement of, we cover a lot of different things.
Basically, what you're saying is you can find all about this show and our network at gncasts.com, right?
Absolutely. gncasts.com is the place to go.
And also hit up the support page if you'd like to donate to our Patreon, or we've got a way for you to help out the show by buying stuff. Just we got a link to our Amazon affiliate. The way you can buy some stuff and a little bit comes back our way. It's pretty cool how that works.
We'd appreciate it.
Okay. All right. I think we're ready to go. Let's record an episode of the Alien Invasion, shall we?
Huzzah.
Here we go. All right. Oh, crap. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Welcome to the Alien Invasion number 216, recorded on Tuesday. No, make that Thursday, like it always has been, except for a while when we were doing Wednesday, but now it's Thursday. Let me start over again. Welcome to the Alien Invasion number 216, recorded on Thursday, April 13th, 2017. I'm Dave Nelson, along with Brad Ludwig and Anessa Moyens. Coming up, NASA really... damn it. I'm going to start over again. Welcome to the Alien Invasion number 216, recorded on Thursday, April 13th, 2017. I'm Dave Nelson, along with Brad Ludwig and Anessa Moyens. Coming up, NASA Realty, ready to show our... Damn it. Okay. Coming up, NASA Realty... Help me out. Coming up, NASA Realty, ready to show Earth off to E.T., Invader Zim returns to TV, and aliens created God, and now they want him back. Those stories, plus the sightings and our picks and warnings. But before all that, our question. If you could be in any alien movie, which one would it be and why? Anessa and or Brad?
I'll let you go first.
The first movie that popped into my head was Galaxy Quest. So I'm going to just go with that.
That'd be a fun one to be in.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, you're still having to like battle aliens, but it's not like Alien where you've got the xenomorph, so you've got grabbers, where you've got the big round noodly things like grabbing people and killing them, and it's a more optimistic film with the whole never give up, never surrender thing. And so, yeah, I think I'd want to be a part of that universe.
And it's jokey. It's humor,
exactly
comedy, not all serious and stuff.
It has its moments, but yeah, for the most part, it's a very lighthearted alien film.
All right, I like your answer, Brad. What do you got? What movie do you want to be in?
Oh man, that is such a good question. An alien-based movie that I would want to be in.
killer clowns from outer space.
No,
Just
I
kidding.
think I would pass on that. I would pass on Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I'd pass on Critters for sure.
How about
Starfighter.
Creepers? Isn't there one called Creepers? No. What was the one about?
Creepers are the people that like live in the. Oh no, I'm thinking about Jeepers Creepers, right? People with the eyes in the hills.
Probably you know who would know. Corey and Matt of the Podcast of Terror.
Oh,
I bet you they'd know.
on the Galactic Network, by the way.
Absolutely. Check it out.
Grabbers? Did you mention Grabbers?
I did mention Grabbers and how I wouldn't want to be a part of that world. Granted, I mean, you're probably drunk the whole time, but
Quite possibly.
you're still having to outrun these balls of tentacles, noodly appendages.
Noodly appendages. You know, God, you know,
The Last Starfighter would be kind of cool.
you know, that's the only thing I can really think of is The Last Starfighter.
Well, it could be any movie involving aliens. So I'm going to say like Star Wars because there's a load of aliens in those films. And
No,
they're
very true.
fly things like the Millennium Falcon and shoot the blasters.
Fifth Element?
Fifth Element would be interesting, yes.
Speaking of that, they're going to bring that back into theaters soon.
They are.
I think the closest one to us is Appleton. I thought I saw that it's going to be released in.
Yep.
It's because it's the same director as Valerian, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
Luc Besson.
All right, so are we happy with our answers?
I think so.
All right. And cut. I was trying to think of a movie thing I could throw in there. I guess that's the closest thing I could get.
Take. I don't know.
Quiet on the set and action. All right. That's good. First story. Here we go. Rock on. 10-4, over and out, all that jazz. Here we go. Brad, you're up first. What do you got?
Well, a very, I don't know if you'd say it's tongue in cheek, but it's NASA's spin on, or their take on how badly we've kind of screwed up our planet. The story is from Gizmodo, and the title of the story is NASA to Aliens, Please Take Care of This Planet as We Have Failed. Earth has been the Airbnb for some questionable guests over the years, but none have been more deplorable than humans. Our bad habits are screwing up the planet big time, causing Arctic glaciers to melt and sea levels to rise 8 inches over the last century alone. At this point, getting adopted by some alien overlords might not be such a bad idea. Even NASA seems to be on board. In anticipation of Earth Day, the agency has put our planet up for adoption, splitting it up into 64,000 pieces. Anyone interested could enter their name on NASA's Adopt the Planet website. Then, users will randomly be assigned a section to adopt. The writer of this story got a section of the coast of Antarctica, which they say is not really prime real estate, but it's still a good way to raise awareness about the shrinking ice sheets. They were able to learn more about their adopted chunk of Earth on NASA's Worldview website, where they could view air quality, vegetation, and more on the adopted slice of land from NASA's Earth Observing System data and information system. Of course, you don't actually gain any legal rights to this land, but will our future alien overlords really care about such trivial details?
Ooh, I actually wanted a piece of the Earth. This is false advertising.
Well, this might seem like an innocuous way to get people of Earth to care about the planet. Don't be fooled. NASA is doubling down on its sales pitch for any extraterrestrials interested in adopting our world. On April 26th, it will partner with Amazon to broadcast the first 4K live stream from space, showing the majesty of our blue marble and glossing over all the corruption and disease is a pretty solid way to sell the Earth.
I think you should repeat the line from space with a little echo, Brad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sleeping on the job.
Yeah, it'll partner with Amazon to broadcast the first 4K live stream from space.
Yeah.
Showing the majesty of our blue marble and glossing over all the corruption and disease is a pretty solid way to sell the Earth. Gizmodo has reached out to NASA for comment on whether or not they'd like extraterrestrials to adopt the planet.
Okay.
So while we wait for our alien saviors, let's clean it up a bit. It can't hurt to try.
Yeah. Plus, if the aliens do show up to look at the planet, just think of it like an open house. Let's get it all cleaned up, and not just covering over things. Let's actually fix stuff. We're a fixer-upper, right?
Yes, absolutely.
We're not I don't watch enough of those property ladder. What are those like fixer-up home home shows? DIY.
Home improvement.
Yeah, home improvement. What's the ones where they take a house and the flippers, the flipping?
Oh yeah, they flip the house.
Yeah.
Flip this house,
Mm-hmm.
but not the finger. Although there are days, let me tell you.
So how would NASA advertise the fact that the Earth is up for sale? Like, obviously they're doing the first 4K broadcast live stream from space, but how would we take that and push it and let ET know? Any thoughts? Any ideas? Any brainstorms on that?
I got nothing.
We'd have to figure out a way of streaming the data, not just to Earth, but into the cosmos somehow. Right?
Yeah, we just have to maybe turn a satellite so it's pointing and broadcasting outward.
Well, I think all we'd have to do is broadcast a TV signal, because we're always pushing the radio waves into space, right?
Yeah.
We've been broadcasting for years into the cosmos. So just make sure it airs on a broadcast channel, and we should be fine in a couple hundred years or whatever. After the Earth is destroyed by human hands.
Yep.
And it's too late. That's going to be a fixer-upper right there.
You're not wrong.
So Matthew says it's the HGTV show Flip or Flop.
Okay.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thanks. And welcome to the chat room, Matthew.
Hello.
I guess Matthew would know his... I don't want to say his last name in case he doesn't want.
Yeah, I left it at Matthew.
All right. Sounds good. Let's put the for sale sign up and do this thing.
Word.
All right. That's story numero uno. Now, you know what time it is. It's time
Peanut butter jelly time.
time to rippity rap.
Oh.
And it's peanut butter jelly time.
Oh, sweet.
Both.
Peanut
All right.
butter jelly.
All right. Since the last time we met here on the Alien Invasion, what have you guys been up to? What's been happening?
Not a whole lot.
Really? That's so interesting.
I know. I crocheted 2 weeks on my temperature blanket, and I've got like 2.5 to 3 more to go before I'm caught up.
Ooh, the temperature blanket update.
Yes. I'm behind. But I'm no longer a month behind, so whoop whoop.
And I've been working a bit on a game that I'm running on Wednesday nights. A RPG that I'm running.
Are you doing any kind of recording of that for?
No.
Okay.
No, that this for the face to face. No,
Okay.
I am not. They eventually, I will do an all over the interwebs, and that will be recorded.
Cool. We just got back from picking up Oliver at the vet. He got fixed today. So we're learning how to deal with the not linking of the suture area for the neck.
Oh, yeah.
Day 1 of 11 to 14. Because I asked them how many days we have to worry about that, and they said 11. But then it takes 14 days for all the man juice to get out of his system, aka testosterone.
I was gonna say, would that be testosterone?
So,
I didn't know seminal fluid worked that way. All right.
what else is happening here? Oh, our daughter gets back from Europe tomorrow.
Oh,
Woohoo.
cool.
Europe for the last 15 days. So
You get to hear all the details of the trip.
yeah, it sounds like it was awesome. I don't know if I told you guys why she was there. It was the 100th anniversary of the Battle of Vimy Ridge, which was a big thing for Canada. It was their first big war or victory in World War One, and it kind of it was a joining moment, not a joining moment. It was a moment for this country to kind of come together, and for the first time, the country fought as a whole, kind of thing. It's a big deal. It's a really super big deal. You guys ever heard of Flanders Fields? There's a poem called Flanders Fields.
I've heard the name. I'm not familiar with.
Poppies growing in Flanders Fields. It was a poem written during this battle. And so every year on Remembrance Day, which is the same day as Veterans Day in the States, people wear poppies on their lapels.
They read a little bit of that on NPR a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
I was driving into work and they were reading the poem. It had to do with poppies, and they were talking about how it's now associated with like remembering fallen soldiers and whatnot.
Exactly. So it was a big deal. Like there was the royals were there, Prince Charles and his two sons. The Prime Minister of Canada was there. The French Prime Minister was there. It was like there was like hundreds of thousands of people at this monument, which Canada erected in like 1923 or something like that. And then during World War II, I learned this later on that Hitler actually made a point of that was the only like war memorial that he didn't order destroyed. He made sure it was saved because he admired the Canadians that much.
Interesting.
Huh.
Yep. So.
But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about because, yeah, they were. I don't remember why they were talking about it. I don't know if someone was like writing a book about McRae or something, but it was the topic. I always hear like random interest. It was probably a book because that's how I seem to find out about a lot of books on NPR. So.
All right. So we're all caught up. Right?
Woohoo!
We're all happy. We okay. All right.
Yes.
I didn't know where to go from there. I apologize. Here
That's
we go.
all right.
All right.
We still love you, Dave.
Let's get back to thank you. Let's get back to talking about the aliens. All right. It's my story.
Oh.
What?
I was gonna say on a non-alien related note, the story that my dad always told me about me trying to drive truck when I was like 2 or 3. My stepbrother was like, it really did happen. So anyway, it's not just a story. It was actual events.
Oh, okay.
But my dad was driving, and I don't think my brother was there. Or maybe he was. I don't remember. But yeah, so I hung out in the truck while it was running and the AC was going, and I got the bright idea of trying to drive the truck apparently, and got into the driver's seat, or rather the driver's side floor, because I was too short to hit the pedals and managed to knock things into gear or maybe neutral.
Wow.
And because I don't know if I knocked it into gear or if it was just neutral, just hitting the pedals and probably reaching for the gear shift because my dad drove stick. And anyway, the truck started to roll and it bumped him and he let go of the wand because he was washing the truck. And he told me that the hose started flying around under high pressure because I guess they probably didn't have, at least at that car wash, the wands didn't have triggers. It was just put the money in and Instawater comes out. And so he's got like this hose flying and he like runs to the door and opens the door and he's like, "What do you think you're trying to do?" And I was like, "I'm driving," as I'm like trying to hold on to the steering wheel from the floor. So
That's a great story.
I was a very ambitious toddler, it would seem.
I love stories like that that your parents or your siblings tell. Like there's a story of I took a hammer one time to the headlights of our cars parked in our driveway when I was very young. I for some reason, I got the idea of just smashing our headlights. And they love to tell that story over and over again.
Remember that time you cost us a lot of money by smashing our headlights?
Yeah.
Seems legit.
All right.
No, so yeah, no, I like stories like that, and I don't remember if my brother was with me when we went to Carlsbad, but apparently when we got down to the bottom, I decided to start singing on top of the tables that they had. So I was very outgoing. I loved to sing as a child. Tried to drive, and I bring up the story about driving because there was an article floating around online about an 8-year-old that had driven to McDonald's with his 4-year-old sister.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh.
They're going to have a real story to tell when they're older.
I know. I'm like, they made it further than I did. But then again, he was taller to reach the pedals and see over the steering wheel. So good job, 8-year-old kid.
All right. I got a little extra there. We can probably throw that in on the discussion area. Or at the end.
Yeah, wherever you want.
Okay, here we go.
That's what she said.
Put it at the end?
Wherever you want.
Oh,
Wherever you want. Put it
all
anywhere.
right. Here we go. Invader Zim aims to conquer Earth again in Nickelodeon animated TV movie. The pint-sized extraterrestrial from the planet Urk starred in his own Nickelodeon series that ran for one season on Nick in 2001. Although I did hear that there was a second season that they aired a few years later. Am I correct on that? Because you watched this show, right, Brad?
I watched the first season like many years after it had first been on, so
but apparently
I'm familiar with the show. But
I read 2 articles about this. The other one that I didn't reference in my actual story said that there was a second season.
Huh.
All right. So, like the original series, the Invader Zim movie will follow the delusional alien as he hatches a new plan to destroy Earth in order to win favor from his home planet's leaders, the almighty tallest. That's great. I want to watch this series. To find out where it is.
It's insane and wonderful.
All right. The new movie, which is currently in pre-production, will also feature Zim's malfunctioning robot Grrr and a boy who is determined to foil Zim's plans. And here's what the Content Development and Production Animation VP Chris Biscardi said. He said, as a network that prides itself on a 25-year history of creating groundbreaking, hilarious animation for kids, Invader Zim is one of our great loves. It's been so exciting to see its popularity grow over the last decade through social media, consumer products, and Zim comic books. No air date is yet set for the 90-minute Invader Zim movie, and joins other classic Nickelodeon characters returning to the network in new projects like Hey Arnold, The Jungle Movie, and Rocko's Modern Life TV special. I have not watched any of those shows.
I love Rocko's Modern Life.
Well, you should be happy. It's coming back, apparently.
Rocko's Modern Life. Rocko's Modern Life.
You know, I really missed the whole Nickelodeon experience. Like, it was starting to get popular when I was just about leaving high school. So I never really had a chance to enjoy Nickelodeon as a kid
and
as an adult.
It's changed quite a bit because I remember watching Nickelodeon and seeing these really weird little cartoon shorts between other cartoons or shows. I guess, you know, they had this space to fill. And so you would, they would show these little shorts that I think would fit more along the line of Liquid Television. If you remember that from MTV at all. And I was like, man, I'm really surprised that they're showing this to kids because you've got like this poor little frog and he's hanging out and there's these chefs that are like arguing and you don't really realize what's going on until they like back away and he's like stuck in this little bubble because they're arguing like how they're going to prepare this poor frog and eat him. And the other one that I remember was the cat came back. And of course, at the end of the video, the guy ends up trying to blow up the cat, but blows himself up in the process. And his body goes flying. And he's like, his spirit is so thrilled. He's finally away from this cat. And then his body falls on the cat and kills it. Oh, and so then there's 9 cat ghosts because there's 9 lives. And so they're like chasing him up to heaven or something to torment him for all eternity. I don't know. But they showed this on Nickelodeon during the day.
When you were watching it, were they showing a series called "You Can't Do That on Television"?
Yes, they did.
That originated here in Ottawa on the local TV station.
Couldn't say I don't know because then you'd get slammed.
Yes, you would.
It was filmed in the lot where I work. The TV station was next door to where our radio stations are. That building burned down a few years ago. They had to move downtown, but that's the lot where I work. That's where You Can't Do That on Television was filmed. At least the first iteration of it, the earlier iteration of the show. It was just a local TV show here, and then they syndicated it to other stations and eventually to Nickelodeon. So that's the story on that.
Isn't that ironic?
Don't you think?
Yes. She's from here.
And she was
on the show.
She was on the show.
I know. Yep.
Alanis Morissette, if people don't pick up on that.
Thanks, Inessa.
You're welcome. I'm a helper. I'm helping.
You are a helper.
You're a helper, not a hinderer. I got to find out where I can watch this show because it sounds funny. I think I'd like this a lot.
I think you would also like Rocko's Modern Life.
Okay. Maybe it's time to re-experience the stuff that I missed. I don't know. We'll see.
Never too late.
I say that now, but that may change. Conditions may change, or whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
Man, I cannot think of the right words to say my life tonight.
It's okay. That happens to me like every day.
It's legit.
I gotta check something here. Hang on. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. All right. Let's move on to Anessa's story. So, Anessa, what did you bring to the podcast this week?
God.
All right.
So I came across this article on express.co.uk, not an uncommon source for some of our articles, but it says that aliens created God and now they want him back. Kind of clickbaity. Shock claim of how religion began. So a new conspiracy theory says before religious texts like the Bible were written, alien life forms visited Earth and were seen as gods by the more primitive humans. In an article entitled Aliens Are Coming Back to Retrieve Their Religion, the website UFOinternationalproject.com tried to explain the theory. It claims that either aliens created the religious texts for the benefit of mankind, or they were written by humans based on the alien gods who visited at that time. It went on to say that more advanced extraterrestrial species were angry that humans had used religions as reason for waging countless wars across the globe over hundreds of years. The article said religion was not designed for terrorism. The aliens quite knew that man is so destructive in nature that there's more reason why religion was bestowed to us, to serve the faith and fear of the unknown, but man has completely failed the experiment. It went on to list a series of wars carried out in the name of religion, including bitter conflicts in the Middle East against Islamic State. The unnamed author of the piece said, "I have studied all religions for over 20 years, and it has led me to nothing more than one vast conclusion. Man was not smart enough to write any of the religions, and I mean the Eastern spiritualism, the self, Western religions, God, which I always have referred to as the extraterrestrial, or American creationism, nature self, including man. One of the oldest religious texts, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, dates back more than 3000 BC. When writing was invented, and the scribes and artists first wrote down what the priests had used in their prayers and litanies, they were very perplexed and hardly understood the text. What I am getting at is that all religions were not composed by humans. At the time they were created, these aliens would truly be gods to us humans. Their civilizations could be millions of years old. They know exactly how this macrocosm works. They might have seen other words come and go and destroy themselves. They know the evolutionary steps, cognition, that has to go through, and that is the crucial point for the aliens. They want to protect our beautiful universe from harm. After all, when you have become God, you don't want to see your world being destroyed, and that brings us to the crux of religion. It went on to say that aliens would want the religions returned and will quarantine us here on Earth to prevent any cosmic disasters. It added, be ready to give it back, since humans have no respect for life, ideas, other races, and cultures. That brings me to my final point, with us humans pointing a cannon at anything different from ourselves, the aliens will not allow us to traverse the universe. We have an idea of how the atom works, and if we ever develop spaceships using anti-gravity, they do not want us to explore space, pointing a cannon at everything alien to us, especially since we failed to master our emotions. Which is not entirely wrong. Mm-hmm. Alien conspiracy theorists have been saying for years that extraterrestrials have already visited Earth, and world leaders know this, but it is kept from us under an alleged truth embargo, amid fears over the impact the truth would have on religion and the rule of law. Several people are campaigning for the embargo to be lifted and the disclosure of all facts about aliens on Earth. The alien finished saying that the only thing that would stop wars on Earth was so-called disclosure. It added, truly, the only thing that can put a stop to the wars on Earth, both religious and others which have killed thousands of innocent people, including children and animals, it is only one thing. Disclosure, all caps. Nigel Watson, author of the UFO Investigations Manual, told Express.co.uk, these ideas are very much like those of the alleged alien contactees of the 1950s, who said they had meetings with space people and had rides in their flying saucers. Ironically, it is a bit like the view of some religious groups that say we should not venture into space because that is the domain of God. I don't think we'll be producing spacecraft capable of visiting nearby alien civilizations for a very long time, and it is still a matter of debate whether they will welcome us or attack us. Certainly, Professor Stephen Hawking says we should be wary of making any type of contact with aliens. As for disclosures as a means of uniting humanity, I don't think that will ever happen.
That would make a great movie. You know, aliens coming back to take their religion back. And just the chaos that would cause amongst the people that believed in those certain religions. Like, it was all a lie the whole time.
Right.
The amount of convincing that they would have to do would be staggering.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if a race of aliens made up a religion, maybe they'd have some kind of proof. Like, okay, this is how we did it. We did
it would have to be so profound.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who believes something so strongly would not be so easily dissuaded from believing it. You know what I'm saying?
They would be able to find their own way of justifying what has happened. It's kind of like an addict.
Are you comparing religion with addiction to drugs?
Yes.
I'm comparing it to a foundation of your view of reality. You're not going to just, oh, okay.
And it's kind of the same thing with addiction. I mean, the way you see what you're doing is not the same as what other people see. And if other people say you're doing yourself harm, that's terrible, stop doing that, the addict is going to be like, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm fine. I can quit anytime I want. So, I mean, they're still kind of living in their own reality. I'm not saying that people that are religious are addicts, but, you know, they're not without their similarities.
Fair enough.
Especially people that are hardcore in their beliefs.
Yeah, I think you're right. This kind of reminded me of Brad's story, too, in a way. How, you know, we screwed up Earth so bad that we're looking for salvation from the aliens. This is kind of like the reverse of that in a way.
Yep.
Which kind of goes with my pick today.
Weird. It's all coming together. Everything connected besides my story. No. Okay, we got the serious science story. Then we got me. Oh, Invader Zim. He. And this comes along. Oh,
religion. Aliens.
A little light fare, yeah.
Yeah, gotta cleanse the palate, right?
Yeah.
I would love to get some feedback from our listeners on this one. So if you have strong beliefs, let us know. Alien.com. Would love to hear from you.
Yeah, and Matthew says that there's a huge difference in spirituality and religion is the problem, which I kind of agree.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. All right.
Word.
So if this was made into a movie, who would direct it? Would this be a Ridley Scott joint? Would it be who does the Transformers? The
Michael Bay?
Bay?
No, I'm thinking Mel Gibson.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, because he's done some very religious, at least that one.
Yeah, Passion of the Christ and shoot. Yeah, and the other one.
Yeah. How about the guy that did Forrest Gump and Contact? I forget his name. Zemeckis? Is it?
Zemeckis, yeah.
Yeah, Robert Zemeckis, who also did Back to the Future movies.
Yes, he did.
All right.
I don't know that I would want like Christopher Nolan to do it. He'd jump around a lot.
He'd what?
He'd jump around.
What does that mean?
He's gotten better about it in some of the movies. And that was one of the things that I really liked about Christopher Nolan early on was his movies are not necessarily in order. They bounce back and forth within the timeline, and then it all kind of comes together into one cohesive thing.
So it's non-linear storytelling.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right.
Seems legit.
That's good. I think we're good on that. Might be some rough endings to these stories this week. I tried to find a good ending point, but we've just kind of trailed off.
I like turtles.
And we're done.
And end.
We'll do some. We'll record something afterwards. We'll do some funny lines, and that's what she said.
And that's when he got the horse a prostitute.
All
Wah,
right.
wah, wah, wah.
Let's do some sightings action here. This is the segment of the show where we talk about a possible somebody seeing something from space or from. Okay, let me restart that again. All right, this is the part of the show where you talk about UFO encounters, alien abductions, that kind of thing. It's the sighting segment. And this week, it was my turn to find something, and this is what it is. Insane, bizarre craft report after encounter on Friday the 13th. This comes to us from express.co.uk. Wasn't your news story from that, Anessa, from that website?
It was. See, not uncommon.
UFO investigators are looking into a case when a man said he encountered a low-flying, silent, triangle-shaped object along a rural road. The man in Orrington, Maine, was driving with friends at 11:19 p.m. local time when the incident happened. He reported it to the Mutual UFO Network.
MUFON.
Vanessa. The witness said, "We were heading up the Brewer Lake Road and went around an S-turn, and we had noticed these red lights down the road above the dam on the lake. This triangular silhouette went from being far off the road to fairly high in the air, 500 to 700 feet, to swooping in very close, probably 400 feet off the road and 200 feet high. The way the object moved down closer was very odd, and I was euphoric, but terrified at the same time. Mixed feelings." The man went on to describe a bizarre encounter that they tried to film. He said, "We were all looking at the black equilateral triangle that had glowing red lights on each end. The object also had a center light that glowed white, and the object was dark against the clear night sky, and it had to have been 40 to 60 feet across. But we looked at the video after and we couldn't see anything but darkness. While she was filming, I kept almost driving my car off the road into a ditch because this object seemed to be hovering closer to us. The group said they saw a second, larger triangular object in the sky. The report added, we turned the corner away from the UFO, and this bigger triangular thing was across the lake, heading towards the direction of the black triangle UFO. This could have been an aeroplane, but it was dead silent. So, interesting stuff. That would be if you like, oh, hey, there's a triangular UFO. Oh, hey, there's another triangular UFO, but it's bigger. Holy crap. We've hit the jackpot. I was thinking there's a part here where they said that she was filming. So maybe the person filming the video, they said it was just black, maybe had the lens cap on the camera. If it was that kind of camera that had a lens cap. I don't know if any cameras have lens caps anymore. I guess DSLRs do, right?
I was going to say DSLRs. Well, and some of the beefier point and shoots have lens caps.
Okay. Most people.
Is that a thing? Beefier point and shoot?
Beefier point and shoot. Yes.
Most people have just smartphones these days, though. Not a whole lot of people carry cameras around.
I do if I'm traveling. And it also depends on where I'm going, if I've been there before. If not, if I plan on doing sightseeing. So I'll have a camera on me, whether it's a DSLR or my 3/4 camera. Sorry, micro 4/3. I'm getting my fractions mixed up.
What are you doing over there, Anessa?
What?
What I was thinking was maybe this could be the case of, how there's been reports of alien crafts interfering with electronics. So maybe that's the case in this case. That's what was causing that just blackness to happen. Who knows? Interesting case. This was just recent too. It was like I think February or March that this happened. So I guess Maine is the place to be. Maine was where Betty and Barney Hill got abducted, right? I think it was Maine. Sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
Sure.
Remember the Maine. Oh, wait.
They were coming back from Montreal back there in the 60s when that happened. All right.
More sightings chat in the group, though. Whoop,
What's that?
Whoop. So peeps are talking about sightings in the little chat group comments.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. Jaime was talking about actually it was Matthew that brought it up. He went to a taco place because their tacos are the bomb. And he saw something on TV about a UFO, but he asked if we had heard or seen anything about it, which I have not that I'm aware of. And Jaime was talking about how there was a large green light that crossed the night sky in Tijuana, I'm guessing is TJ. It was everywhere. And then Matthew says it was filmed during the day and a pretty typical saucer. So it sounds like it was two different sightings that they're talking about. But Matthew says it's almost what we in the UFO community would consider a retro saucer. And so now they're trying to find videos of stuff. So maybe we'll have some in the show notes.
I love when our chat room gets involved in the conversation.
Oh, I know.
Hell yeah.
All right. Let's end the sightings right there. It's perfect. And we'll get into the discussion of our picks and warnings. And how I was talking about how they tried filming it and nothing showed up. My pick has something to do with that. So looking forward to talking about it.
What?
But first, let's start the picks and warnings. These are things that we have entertained ourselves with to different degrees, I suppose. Related to aliens, it's our picks and warnings. And Anessa, you are up first.
I am, and it is Amazon's pilot season.
Yay!
Yay! Potential new stuff coming up. So one of their pilots, I've started, that I watched the other day. It's called Oasis, and the description reads, set in the near future, Oasis tells the story of priest Peter Lay, who is called to a remote planet where a mysterious multinational company is building the first permanent off-Earth human colony. The planet, Oasis, is humanity's last chance to escape from Earth's impending collapse. But it quickly becomes apparent that it may not be as hospitable to humanity as it seems. So anyway, you have an actor, I can't think of his name, but he plays one of the Starks on the Game of Thrones. I don't watch the Game of Thrones, so I can be like, oh, this is totally who it is, because the only Stark that I know is like Tony Stark.
I can't tell that you don't watch it by the way you said the Game of Thrones.
The Game of Thrones. So anyway, he plays the priest, or the chaplain, I believe is what they refer to him as, Peter Lee, and he is on Earth, and they show him with his wife in her last few moments of life. And she ends up passing away, and he's working in his church, like doing outreach and, very involved in the community, especially with the youth. And he is approached by someone who says, you have a message from someone named David Morgan, which we don't know who it is. We just know it's someone from Peter's past. And he ends up watching the message, And it's a recording of David Morgan asking him to come to Oasis, which Peter and his wife were very much against, starting a new colony on a planet other than Earth. And because I think they still had hope that, the Earth could be saved. You just didn't want to abandon ship. And so he really has to do some soul searching. And the lady was like, "We will pay you." And he was like, "I don't want your money." And she's like, "We will pay you a donation for your church so your work can continue going." And so he was like, "Well, crap, fine." And so he ends up going to Oasis. And while he's there, we don't, and maybe we are encountering aliens. We don't really know at this point. There's a ton of questions that need to be answered, but there's a lot of strange stuff going on this planet that people don't really know what's happening. There's a lot of freak accidents, and we get to witness one of the freak accidents, but we also get to see what's going on in the person's head right before the accident. So it's kind of trippy. It kind of reminds me of almost Solaris, kind of with the planet being alive. And I'm kind of wondering if that's something similar going on with this particular show. But I guess we don't know unless people go check it out and then go take the survey and say, "I want Amazon to make more of this show." So
that's how that works, right?
That's how that works. So if you happen to have Amazon Prime, I don't know if people that don't have Prime can go and watch the pilots.
I know early on you were able to.
Yeah, I know they were able to. I don't know if they still are, but take 5 minutes to check it out and see if you can. The episode is, I think, about 45 minutes in length. It's not a bad episode. I enjoyed it. But like I said, there's a lot more questions there than answers by the time you reach the end of the episode. I would like to see more. So if you've got some time to kill, check out Oasis. If you too would like to learn more, then you should take the survey. The link is provided on the show's page.
Okay. So this is definitely a pick. And
yes.
How many flying saucers will you be giving Oasis?
I would give it 4 out of 5.
Whoa. Okay. Good stuff.
I think it's off to a good start. It has me asking questions, and I want to know more, and I think that's really good.
That's a good sign when you're thinking about it after you get done watching it.
Yeah, you're like, man, I really want to see more. I want to know what happens. I want to know why this is happening. Why are they saying this? Why are they hearing that? Why is this person doing this over here? Like, yeah.
Nice.
Okay. I want to know.
Cool. Okay, my pick this week is a podcast, and I think this is the first time I've actually done a podcast as a pick. I don't usually like to steer people away from our shows, but it's called Scared ? Podcast. It's basically a podcast about real people sharing their real stories about scary paranormal experiences. And they deal with ghosts, Bigfoot kind of stuff, and aliens. So this episode it's a chat. Well, I only listened to half of it. The half that I want that dealt with the aliens, because there was the other half was, I think they were talking about some kind of like ghost thing. So I listened to it for the important part, which was the aliens. And it was a conversation with what they do is they talk to real people, interviewing real people about their experiences. They talked to this Casey Gamble from Chicago, and he talks about his UFO sightings. Not 1, not 2, but 3 UFO sightings in the suburbs of Chicago. And he said that they all happened within about a 5-year period. The first one was when he was living at home. He and I think his cousin were outside, and they were watching this light, which they thought was like a star or one of the planets. and it was moving around in the night sky. They're like, that's weird. That shouldn't be happening. And I started moving around very erratically and coming closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. Finally, it kind of fell close to where they lived. Like it hit the ground, but they didn't hear it hit the ground, but they did hear the animals freaking out. Like all of a sudden, all the animals around them made a noise at the very same time. Like they were totally spooked. So they ran into the house, ran behind their couch with like they were holding the lamp, like they were ready for like to guard against something. It was that freaky. So that's the first experience that he had. The second one was he's driving down the road with his girlfriend, and all these encounters he tried to record it on video using various devices, he didn't try. I think the two of them he forgot, and then the third one he tried, but it didn't record for some reason. So the second one, he was in the car with his girlfriend, and he just happened to look up, and there was this huge triangular-shaped UFO. And he said it was like maybe the size of 2 football fields, just kind of floating in the air.
Huh.
And then all of a sudden, they followed it for a while. He was looking up at it for the longest time, and all of a sudden it just shot out of view. Like he said that he's never seen an object move that fast in his life. And then the third one, what was the third one about? I forget. I think it was another like night sighting where he saw the lights in the sky and they moved around erratically, but it didn't come crashing or didn't land nearby like the first one did. So it was an interesting conversation. I'd like to listen to more episodes of this podcast. It was very well produced, and it's hosted by a guy with either an Australian or a British accent, or a hybrid of both of them. Because I couldn't nail it down. Like it kind of sounds British, but it sort of sounds Australian too. But it's very well produced. He's got kind of an echo to his audio, which is kind of weird and off-putting, but you get used to it after a while. Kind of brings some bravados. That's the wrong word. Some
gravitas,
or
Gravitron.
bravado.
It's the gravitron.
But yeah, check it out if you want. It's Scared ? Podcast, and I'm going to give it 2 out of 5 flying saucers. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to make that 3 out of 5. 2 is too low of a score. All right, Brad.
Cool.
I don't see anything here. Do you have one or no?
I do not have a pick this week.
Oh, shame.
What? Can I just say, if you plan on watching any of these pilots like during work, you don't. Well, I was at lunch at the time in the cafeteria, but for sure the Marvelous Miss Mavel or whatever it's called, not safe for work. Less than 5 minutes in, boobs. So I was like, and we're watching something else.
It's really funny.
Yeah, I mean, like I go and I eat lunch in the cafeteria where I work, and you don't want coworkers walking up behind you going, why are there boobs across your screen? I'm like, hey, I'm going to just watch some Unsolved Mysteries. Thanks.
Have you guys watched, that's on Hulu, I think, Handmaid's Tale? Have you seen it yet?
Not yet.
Nope.
We were worried because it wasn't going to be available in Canada, but then at last minute they got a network on board with it because it's Margaret Atwood, who's from Canada. It's her story. And we're like, it would be too bad that one of her stories made into a TV show wouldn't be shown in her own country. But thank God it's going to be premiering soon on one of our cable channels. Looking forward to it. It's very timely for the age that we live in. All right, that would do it for our picks. I feel like this week we're just kind of just blah. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
Weird.
It's one of those days.
It's the weather.
Could be. It's been kind of a roller coaster here lately.
Yeah.
It's like sunny and shorts weather, and then it's snowing, and then it's rainy, and
Spring in the Midwest. What happens?
yeah. Done with snow for this year.
Let's close it out here. Let's close it out.
That's cheese.
So that's going to do it for this episode, this edition of the Alien Invasion, a Galactic Network podcast. If you'd like to read more about the stories that we covered on this episode or watch watch Amazon videos, click the links in the show notes. We'd like to thank Monkey Warhol for providing our intro music. It's a song called Alien Syndrome. You can find it at soundcloud.com/Monkey Warhol. Also to Retward von Durnberg, a composer from Germany, for our closing song called Be Water. His website is thecaravel.net. And finally, thanks to Ben Olson for recording the disclaimer audio at the very beginning of the episode. BenOlson.com is where to go to find out more about him. Thanks for joining us, guys. Final thoughts? Brad, what's up? Oh, hey, you know what? Can I interject real quick?
Absolutely.
Doctor Who this week is back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Definitely on board for that.
Saturday night.
Yeah, I think we'll have to find a different way to view it, but yes, we will be viewing it.
All right. Sorry, I interrupted. You got a final thought, buddy?
We may have to do a collective pick of Doctor Who.
Yeah, that'd be fun. It sounds like they're going to be doing some very interesting stuff this year.
And Peter Capaldi has said that he's already shot the regeneration scene.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
I wonder who they're getting to be the next Doctor.
It's me.
Sweet.
Yep.
Is he regenerating before the Christmas special? Are we going to find out? Are we going to have the new Doctor by the Christmas special?
Unknown.
That could be.
They're being very tight-lipped about it, and rightfully so.
All right. Anessa, what do you got there? Final thought.
Well, I got a whole lot of nothing.
Okay. It sounded like you were building up to something big. Like, oh,
yeah, that's what she said.
Not really. I tried to find the sightings that Matthew and Jaime were talking about, but I don't know if I succeeded or not.
Well, you gave it a college try.
I gave it a college try. They're still interesting sightings. So, yeah.
Right.
It was nice having people interacting, and I enjoy each week that they do.
Yeah.
So, we were missing Growly Bear, though.
If you want to, if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, you want to join us, we do record the episode starting at around 7:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on our Facebook page. So join us there and interact with us. It's always fun.
Word.
All right, that's going to do it. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right, bye.
All right, there we go. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody in the chat room. We'll talk to you again.
Dankeschön. Dankeschön.
All right.